Hello, beautiful soul. Have you ever had someone totally dismiss kind of the physical symptoms or emotional stuff that you've been dealing with? Well, this is one of the things that I've heard from so many clients that people said, oh, it's all in your head, as if what they were feeling couldn't be justified. And the thing about this that makes me crazy is because it's partly true. Yes, it may be in your head, meaning whatever's going on with you may have a mental cause. But the thing we have to understand is that emotional drama and trauma is going to impact the body, because the mind-body connection is not just like a link. They are fundamentally an interconnected unit. So when someone says it's all in your head, it's also in your body, in your tissues, in your cells, in your brain, in your nervous system, in your very DNA. And that is why some allopathic treatments won't work. That's why we need a holistic approach to health. Because if we only focus on physical symptoms, which is what the traditional sick care system does, it puts a Band-Aid on things by addressing symptoms rather than getting down to the root cause. Of course, in integrative medicine, functional medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, our focus is on getting down to the root cause. So you'll hear me ask you about your environment, what it's like at home, what it was like growing up at home, what you eat, what are the things you're exposed to, because we need a bio-psycho-social and environmental snapshot of what's influencing your health and your well-being. So one of the things that you'll see in this book, Holistic Healing, which is a wonderful collection of real-life stories of how you can heal your body, mind, and soul through integrating all parts of yourself. And I recently published a blog about one of the interviews I did with the authors. Dr. Margot Livingston from the UK shares her story about how loss in childhood, losing her home, her dog, and her beloved father, her country, caused such an imprint on her and her sister that it impacted their health later, but in totally different ways. Now, I'll let you read the story or watch our interview to see what happened to Margot's sister. But I can tell you about in her case, she pretty much almost lost her eyesight. She developed cataracts at a very early age. And when they were trying to remove the cataracts, there was a problem with the scalpel. I'll leave it at that. But what her story really illustrates is that as we start to look over what made us susceptible to the illness or disease in the first place, we often have to go back to childhood. Now, a lot of people confuse this. They think, oh, if I go into my family tree or into my family history, I'm just bringing up drama, trauma, and shame, and maybe even blame. But we're not talking about pointing the finger of blame for what happened in your childhood or what your family passed down to you. But what we are saying is when you can recognize the source, then you can be more specific about the treatment. Because we carry in our cells, in our very energetic blueprint, we carry this information from generation to generation to generation. So if you really want to stop the cycle of illness being perpetrated through your family or intergenerational trauma, then it means you have to become a bit of a detective and look over your life and your family history to see where things started. Because in many of the cases, at least with clients that come to me, it didn't start with them. So if you've ever had this sense that there's an illness or there's something going on with you that may be linked to family trauma or drama, then I would invite you to write about it. Because part of what happens when we start to open up, and you don't have to share this with me, but when you start to write your own story or your family history, there are things that will open up for you psychologically, like your own subconscious will start to unburden itself and bring things to your conscious awareness. And in every healing tradition and spiritual tradition, the road to wholeness and healing always begins with awareness. And so just by writing, doing one of our journaling exercises, for example, will help bring the awareness to you so that you don't have to go back and blame anyone or feel the shame, but so that you can heal it. So if you'd like some support in that, then please check out the link to the 3 keys to becoming the hero of your life. It includes my signature life writing process, guided meditations, and you get access to the Real Self-Love movement. And on the second Tuesday of the month, every month, I go live on Zoom in a private community so that you can ask me questions, you can get some live coaching, and I lead a guided meditation. So all of the things that you'll find in the Real Self-Love handbook are very practical ways to do holistic healing for yourself and for your family. And I support you in doing these exercises every month as part of my service to humanity. So check out the link in my bio or in the description, and I'll see you there.